Hey everyone, welcome back. Jack Reeve, TalkNorwichCity. I think I said last week, reflecting on the win against Luton, I was like, I really love these Sunday morning kind of reflection videos. I take great joy from them. It's brilliant. I love watching the games back and thinking about what I'm going to say and, discussing it all with you guys. And I'll be honest, when I woke up this Sunday morning, the thought of watching QPR 3, Norwich City 0 back on the highlights and trying to get a video out was pretty low down on my priority list. But I'm here, whether you want to listen to me recounting exactly what happened at Loftus Road on Saturday the 7th of December, then that's completely up to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. This was a really poor performance from Norwich City. I mean, I pick the away days to do, don't I? I've done Oxford. That was actually probably not quite as bad as this, maybe a little bit worse. West Brom and now QPR. So 3 away games this season, still yet to see us win away from home. I've actually done, not as many as most, but I've actually done a fair few away days over the last few seasons. I'm pretty sure the last time I saw us win away was the win against Millwall when we won 3-2. I'm pretty sure that's the last time I saw us away from home. So I am just a curse. I think maybe let's just put all of the technicalities and the kind of tactical approach out of the window. It's just me being at away games that is seemingly the curse. So thankfully, I'm not at Fratton Park on Tuesday night, but we are doing a watch long. So I mean that never ends well either. So maybe I just need to stop doing Norwich City stuff and they'll start winning again. In all seriousness, this was really poor from Norwich, and it is a trend and a worrying trend of, number one, conceding far too many goals and soft goals, and number two, away performances just being really substandard. It's almost like you're reflecting on two different teams when you talk about Norwich. You've got Carrow Road, Norwich City, that are fast and fluid and score lots of goals and exciting and controlled, and then away Norwich City that is disjointed and seemingly without much of a plan and scared and not really up for it. And I think that was the biggest worry at Loftus Road, and Johannes Hoff Thorup kind of alluded to it in his post-match interview. He said, we need to see more from these players. We need to see them, just showing a little bit more from really simple moments. I mean, the 3 goals in which Norwich conceded were all very soft, and once again, that follows a trend. In terms of set pieces, we're the worst in the division. I think alongside Sheffield Wednesday, we've conceded 7 set piece goals this season. That's as many as last season. In full, and Norwich were good last season from set pieces, both attacking and defending. Thanks to NCFC numbers for that stat, by the way. Norwich have changed set piece coaches, and look, I'm not saying it's all on him, but that is the only kind of variable that's changed, really. Of course, some of the players as well, but we just look completely off it from defending set pieces and actually attacking them. We're just really poor as well. So, it would be more of a worry if these were real, or the feeling of real structural issues. Actually, once again, this is, 3 goals from QPR, and granted, the weather was horrendous. It was windy, it was rainy. They're not excuses. You have to pivot, you have to deal with these types of things, and QPR did it incredibly well. They were winning lots of fouls, and play was very stop-start. Norwich never ever got into a flow in this game, and QPR took their chances. They capitalised on Norwich City mistakes, and yes, Norwich had a couple of chances. There was one for Slimane in the first half after some really good work from Jack Stacey around the right-hand side. He will be disappointed he didn't score. We had the ball in the back of the net a couple of times. I think one of those should have stood. We should have had a penalty. Clear handball. Johannes thought that QPR should have been down to 10 men for a challenge on Ante Sienat. So, if things go your way, then maybe you come out of that game with a point. But that would be clutching at straws, and I think that would actually be really inappropriate, because there are bigger issues here for Norwich away from home. And as soon as you start to think, okay, maybe there's chance of kind of top 6, you quickly realise that if that is to happen, then performances away from home need to buck up really quickly. And even in the wins against Plymouth and Luton, like we've conceded 3 goals at home in a week against fairly poor opposition, and we've just been not lucky because we were very good in both of those games, but that's not a sustainable way of playing football. If they score 2, we have to score 3. That will work sometimes, and that will work more at Carrow Road than it will away from home. But you can't go to Loftus Road, a place where QPR haven't won, I think, all season since last April maybe, and expect to win football matches playing in that way. I thought it was a very honest and revealing chat from Johannes post-match. I think he was deeply frustrated with his players. I think he needs to take some responsibility with the way that we set up. Nunez, Marcondes, McLean and Slimane all started, which was slightly surprising, and I think Connor Southwell alluded to it in his video after the game. A lot of the good work from Norwich in the last couple of weeks, West Brom, Plymouth, Luton, has been down that right side, and Jack Stacey delivering crosses, and Fortuna Mankwa has been the man out on that right wing. Now, I wasn't overly fussed if Forson was dropped or not, and he was dropped going into this game, but actually the balance of the game looked incredibly different when you've got Marcondes out on the right hand side, and actually a lot of the good work from Emi Marcondes this season has been in a more central midfield role. So it was almost like he was trying to fit all 4 of those midfielders into a system that only allows for 3, and I think that was a decision he'll probably look back on and regret slightly, but we'll learn from. I think Kellen Fisher at left back has, and it's not even necessarily on him, but the system I don't think really suits Kellen Fisher at left back, particularly when the player ahead of him in Borja Sainz is so fluid and will often come in central or even go out to the right hand side, and actually his kind of his want and his desire to track back, which I know has been mentioned a few times by Johannes Hoff Thorup, and he wants that to improve. That leaves somewhat, it's very open down that left-hand side, and actually the QPR were good in terms of just trying to move. Whenever Norwich had possession, they were trying to move Norwich over to that left side and have Fisher on the ball, and most of the time they could kind of turn over possession quite well. It was a very off-colour display from Callum Doyle, who I think that was probably his worst performance in a Norwich shirt. Gave the ball away for the 3rd, misplaced countless passes, never really looked comfortable. Both him and Duffy, I think have actually been really good as a centre-back pairing for the last few weeks, but they were both poor against QPR. I'm actually just looking through this side. No player really put in a performance worth shouting about. It was one of those performances where it was almost so bad you just go, was it just one of those days at the office? Really sloppy first goal to give away. Norwich had chances after that. If you get it back to 1-1, who knows what happens? You concede a goal right on the half-time whistle. You go into 2-0, it's really tough. And then you come out after the break. There was a chance, I believe, I'm trying to think back, just before their 3rd goal. So you get it back to 2-1, and there's potentially a chance. It was just whenever we needed something to go our way, actually the opposite was true, which was a real struggle. But Norwich need to get up and go again. I mean, it's a game against Portsmouth on Tuesday night. I think when you look at the kind of away games on paper, like QPR, Portsmouth, were both in the bottom 3 going into this weekend, you're like, okay, Norwich should win both of those. It's really not that simple, and QPR were really streetwise in this game. They ruffled our feathers, they got under our skin, they won fouls when they needed to win them. They just played how they needed to play, and I fear that Portsmouth will do the exact same on Tuesday, and there's nothing wrong with that. When you're scrapping and you're fighting for your lives at the bottom of the table, you need to do things to win football matches. And actually, there were some good performances from certain individuals in that QPR side. I was very impressed with Smith out on their right wing. I was very impressed with Colley when he came on and scored a couple of goals. Actually, didn't start the game, but looked a real bright spark up front for them. So there's definite quality in that QPR side, and the same will be true for Portsmouth on Tuesday night. Yes, they are struggling this season, but a good win for them on Saturday, and have some real quality in that side. So this isn't going to be easy, and for any chance of top 6 this season, it's important not to throw momentum away. It was a good week last week for Norwich at Carrow. 2 wins, lots of goals, and you would hope that they were going to back that up in some capacity away from home, even if it was a draw. That keeps momentum rolling. But this was a really crushing defeat. It was a defeat that will have Johannes Hoff Thorup scratching his head and needing to make changes. In terms of what we do on Tuesday, well, I think we have to revert back to the winning formula of those home performances. I would have Marcondes, McLean and either Nunes or Slimane in the middle of the pitch. I'd bring Forster and Mankwa back in. I think I'd probably start Ben Crescene at left back, or now that Cordoba's back, more likely Doyle probably gets moved to left back and Cordoba comes in as a centre back pairing for Shane Duffy. So this isn't. This was always going to be a season of transition. It's a really horrible buzzword, but it's true. And there will, the way that we play football, you will have the occasional stinking result where you've tried to take risks and they've not worked. And you've also got very young players in here, and Ante Sienats and Callum Doyle and Kellen Fisher, who will make mistakes. And I'm okay about those players making mistakes as long as you kind of see improvement and you see effort and you see kind of continued progression to where we want to be. It's the complete lack of improvement from really simple moments, defending corners, winning second balls, just moments where you either not giving set pieces away at all. It was a really sloppy free kick for that second goal, or when you do give them away sloppily, you switch on and you defend, and that just simply wasn't good enough from Norwich. So a day to forget. I'm sure I was impressed watching Johannes after the game. I thought he was very honest. I thought he was very open. I think he will get a response from these Norwich players. And actually, when you look back to Oxford and you look back to and hopefully you look back to today, and you go, yeah, actually they were lessons, and we've learnt a lot from them, and hopefully we won't see a performance replicated of what we saw at Loftus Road. So there we go. It's a quick turnaround. That's probably exactly what Norwich want now. They won't be able to dwell on this. They'll be back in training today, ready to go again on Tuesday night. A quick mention, the merch over on our merch store. You can find it. It's linked in our YouTube shop and down in the description. There is free delivery until midnight tonight, so that's midnight Sunday, and that's the final free delivery we're doing before Christmas. So if you want something for Christmas, or you want to buy someone else something for Christmas off the merch store, now is the perfect day to do it. We're not doing free delivery again. If you order it today, it'll be guaranteed to be with you before the festive period. And some really good stuff on there. All of the profits get reinvested back into TNC to hopefully keep providing you good content. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.